Hello, happy Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for joining. We've got 30 minutes of yoga stretches. So I'm going to show you different ways to stretch the hamstrings, the back of the thighs. So if you've got a belt and maybe a block or a cushion, just to access some of these stretches a little bit better. So there's lying down, ways to stretch the hamstrings, seated and standing. The safest way, which protects your back, is to lie down. So we'll start by lying down. I'll show you a few different ways. So we're lying on our backs. Rest your head on a block. If you rest your head on the floor and you notice that the eyes are looking back, you need to have a block to rest the back of your head on. We want to try and draw the chin towards the chest as well, so the chin isn't thrown back, because that's causing too much pressure, compression in the back of our necks. So we're going to start first of all just by checking that we can feel all our back resting into the floor. So we haven't got any arches, we can't reach our hand underneath our back. We want to have the back flat on the floor. And when we do the stretches, when we lift up a leg, we don't want to take the leg that far back that the bottom lifts off the floor. We want to take the leg back so it's kind of straight if possible, or slightly bent. But if we're lifting our hips up on our bottom off the floor, that can cause that curve in the back. So we want to keep the back as flat as possible. So first of all, we're just going to stretch out. So feet together and feet squeezing together, and then stretching the arms above the head, taking a deep breath in and deep breath out, bringing the arms down. So first of all, we're going to try the right hamstring stretch with the left foot pressed into the floor, taking our belt around the sole of the right foot. So we're holding onto the belt lightly between the thumb and the first finger, with the elbows resting on the floor. So we're not stretching up towards the feet, towards the end of the belt. We're just holding on to the first part of the belt. And then here we're trying to push our heel away, toes towards the face, trying to keep our leg as straight as possible. So we're gently drawing the foot towards, so it goes over the face or over the chest, but we're not allowing the jaw to become clenched or tight. So a few breaths first of all. Notice whereabouts in the right leg you were feeling the stretch. So for some people it could be the calf area, or it could be the hamstring near the knee, or it could be the hamstring near the glute. So obviously there's different parts of the hamstring. So if you're not feeling much of a stretch here, you want to extend your left leg along the floor. But for me, that makes it too intense. So I keep my left foot pressed into the floor, and then I'm gently drawing the right foot closer towards my body. I'm trying to keep my right leg as straight as possible, and holding for another 3 or so breaths. And try and breathe in and out through the nose. And then from here, we're taking hold of the belt with the right hand, taking the left hand out to the side with the palm facing down. Then we're taking our right leg out to the right, again as straight as possible. This might be more of a stretch for your inner thigh, your adductor muscles. So about another 4 or 5 breaths. And then slowly lift back to the centre and extend the left leg along the floor, Holding the belt with the left hand, right hand out to the side. We're taking the right leg over to the left, keeping that right leg as straight as possible. And this time the stretch might be the outside of the right thigh. 4 or 5 breaths again. And drawing the right leg back to the centre and releasing the belt. Bringing the right foot to the floor. Stretch out both legs. And just notice the difference between the right and the left leg. So if you've been activating that right thigh, pulling the right kneecap up, we've been stretching the right hamstring, you should feel kind of all the energy around that right leg. So the left leg doesn't really feel as though there's much going on. You might notice quite a lot going on in the right leg from stretching and strengthening it. Okay, and then bring both feet together, taking a deep breath in, stretch the arms above the head. Breathe out, bringing our arms back down. And then we go to the left side, so bending the right foot up and lifting the left foot up towards the ceiling, the belt around the sole of the left foot. So again, elbows resting on the floor, fingers just at the end of your belt, holding on with the first finger and the thumb. And again, we're gently drawing the leg as straight as possible, pushing the heel away, toes towards the face. And again, we're noticing whereabouts we feel a stretch up the back of the left leg. It could be more your calf near your knee, or hamstring near the knee, or hamstrings near the glute. Try again to keep your left sit bone down, not lifting that left leg too high, but to keep the whole of the back pressing into the floor. And if you want, you can try to extend the right leg along the floor. That might mean that your left leg goes away a bit. That's fine. So holding on to the belt now with the left hand, right hand goes out to the side, and we're taking the left leg again as straight as possible out to the left. You might feel a stretch in the inner left thigh, the adductor. Slowly back to the centre, stretch out the right leg, push the right heel away, toes towards the face so the right leg is strong, and then holding the belt with the right hand, left hand out to the side, taking the left leg over to the right as far as you can, still pushing the heel away, toes towards the face. 5 breaths. Slowly lifting up back to the centre and releasing. So just stretching out both legs, small toes falling out to the side. See if you can notice the difference between the left leg and the right leg. Okay, now taking the belt around the sole of both feet. and then holding on to the edge of your belt. And just resting the elbows on the floor, pushing the heels away, toes towards the face. Maybe draw the feet a little bit over the head, or take the feet so they're in line with the hips. And about 5 more breaths. Slowly releasing the belt and bringing the knees into the chest. So that should feel safe for the back. The safest way for the back to stretch our hamstrings. There's not too much pressure, not too much stretch on our back, and it's a great way to bring the back into a nice neutral spine. So we're going to roll up to seated and try some seated hamstring stretches. So lifting up, drawing the tummy in, come to seated. So for the seated hamstring stretch, it's best to have a block to help our pelvis be able to tilt forward. So I've got to sit on my block. I'll just get a better forward fold, which means I'll get a better hamstring stretch. So the first way we're going to try this is taking our elbows underneath our legs and bringing our chest onto our thighs and holding on to opposite elbow. And here we've got that nice flat back, we can see. So we're extending our heels along the floor, and we're trying to keep that contact with the chest close to the thighs. So walking the heels away. You can even rest your chin or your head on your knees. So here, for me, I feel more of a stretch in my back, but you might feel a stretch in your hamstrings. It just depends on your body shape. So the more you walk your heels away, you'll hopefully get that stretch in the hamstrings. So I'd say about 3 more breaths. And see if you can walk the heels away a bit more. So the legs are becoming straighter. Still try and snuggle your chest onto your thighs. And walk the heels away a little bit more again. And then removing the hands from underneath the legs. See if you can straighten the legs and walk the hands a bit more forward. And notice where you feel the stretch. Hopefully it's not too much of a stretch in your lower back. Hopefully it's in the hamstrings. So about 3 breaths. You can take hold of the feet if you like. Then lifting back up slowly. So now we need to do a counter pose because we've had quite a deep stretch for the back of our body. So now we're going to open up the front of the body. So we'll go into what we call inclined plane or inclined plank with the legs bent or the legs straight. So if the legs are straight, pointing the toes, hands behind, fingertips facing forward, lifting up the hips, looking up at the ceiling, or legs are bent with the feet flat on the floor. So we can hold up for a couple of breaths, breathing in, pushing the hips higher, breathing out, drawing the tummy in. And then slowly lowering the feet, the bottom, the hips to the floor. And then we come up to standing for our hamstring stretches. So the first one I'll show you, again keeping the back safe, is with the feet quite wide apart. So this is called a wide-legged forward fold. So we're going to start with the hands on the hips, drawing the chest forward, shoulders back. We breathe in, breathe out, tip forward, and press into the feet. Draw the kneecaps up and notice where you feel the hamstring stretch. You might feel it again in your back, or you might feel it in your hamstrings or your calves. About 5 more breaths. And then bring both hands down towards the floor with the wrists underneath the shoulders. So we're walking both hands over to the right ankle or shin, and then holding here. So you might feel a stretch up the back of the right leg, the right hamstring. So hold here for about 5 breaths, still pressing the feet into the floor, still drawing your kneecaps up. Slowly take the hands back to the centre, then walking the hands over to the left ankle or the left shin, holding on there. So still pressing into the feet, drawing the kneecaps up, 5 breaths. Walking the hands back to the centre, and heel toe the feet back together a little bit. And we're going to draw up slowly, so feet about hip width apart, lifting back up slowly, keeping the chin on the chest and bringing the head up last. Come back to standing. So next we're going to do down dog, stretches for the hamstrings and the calves. So lowering down again, coming forward, bringing the feet down, keeping the knees a little bit soft, and then walking into an upside down V shape. So here we want to try and draw our chest through to our thighs. You want to have our fingers spread. So first of all, pressing your right heel into the floor and bending the left leg, and then lifting up that left leg. So if you keep trying to draw your chest through to your thighs, pressing your right heel into the floor, you should feel a stretch up the back of the right leg. So it could be the calf or it could be the hamstring. So another 3 or 4 breaths. Keep that left leg lifted, heel away, toes towards the face. And lower the left leg, press the left heel into the floor, bend the right leg, then lift up that right leg, heel away, toes towards the face, drawing the chest through to the thighs as much as you can, 5 breaths, with the right leg strong, the left leg strong.
Bring back down the right leg, and then walking the hands towards the feet. Little micro soft bend in the knees. So now we come into a forward fold called dangling. So taking hold of opposite elbow and allowing the crown of the head to come down towards the floor, allowing gravity to draw us closer to the floor. So notice you don't really want to be back on the heels, you want to be slightly forward so you can feel the weight on all four corners of the feet. So 5 breaths in this dangling pose, forward fold. Going to come up slowly, so release the fingertips, draw the fingertips up the legs, keeping our chin on our chest and bringing our head up last. Okay, so one more standing hamstring stretch, which we might need the belt for. So I'll just show you. So I'm going to hold on to a wall. So I'm hugging the right knee in towards the chest first of all. So I find this one really hard. So I'm taking hold with my 2 first fingers, taking hold of my right big toe and trying to extend the right foot away. So I don't think it's that I've got unflexible hamstrings here. Something just won't let me stretch out my right leg. So give it a go. This one just doesn't work. So maybe hold just with holding on to the right knee, 3 breaths, or extending that right leg, 3 breaths. Okay, and slowly releasing the right foot, and then we try again on the opposite side. So lifting the left knee in towards the chest. You maybe don't need to hold on to the wall, and then hold on to the big left toe with the 2 first fingers and extend the left leg away, which doesn't happen for me, so I'm just going to hook my knee into the chest. Or you could extend the left leg along the floor and hold the leg underneath, but I'm not really feeling much of a stretch. Okay, and lowering slowly. So that could be done with the belt, but for me it just doesn't work, but I'll just show you. So again, taking the belt around the sole of the right foot and lifting the right leg up. See if you can hold for 3 or 4 breaths. And lowering slowly, and try the same with the left leg. So if you're quite good at holding your big left toe, you don't need the belt, just obviously do that. Try not to lean back if you're holding on to the belt. Try and push your heel away, toes towards the face. And lowering slowly. So that's just a few different ways to stretch your hamstrings. So we have stretched out the back of the legs. So we need to just stretch out now our fronts. So we'll go into Sphinx for a few breaths. So it's all well and good stretching out hamstrings. We've just got to be careful to not either overstretch or stretch too much near the glute area, the buttocks. and not overstretch the back as well. Our back obviously may be quite overstretched already with sitting, cycling, if you think we're in that kind of C shape with the back. So I think it's quite good to do a counter pose like the Sphinx after a day at your desk. So we'll just try a couple more stretches on our back. So first of all, I'll show you the glute stretch, which is reclining pigeon or reclining swan. So lying down on our backs and then right ankle over left thigh, just gently pushing the knee away. So it's a stretch here for the glutes, the piriformis. This one's great to prevent sciatica. Then if you want to go further, you take the left foot off the floor and thread the hands either underneath the left knee or on top of the left shin. So this might also be a hamstring stretch for you. Hamstrings are linked to the glute muscles. And sometimes we think it's our hamstrings that are tight, but it's actually our glutes. And bringing the left foot to the floor and the right foot to the floor, and then left ankle over right thigh. So it might just be enough to push the left knee away. Might be enough of a stretch in our left hip and our left glute. Or we can take the right foot off the floor, threading the hands underneath the right knee or on top of the right shin. To intensify the stretch and to switch on the muscles around the knee joint, we can flex our toes. Instead of pointing our toes, flex our toes. Bringing the right foot back to the floor and the left foot to the floor. Stretch out both legs, feet together, and deep breath in, stretch the arms above the head. And breath out, slowly bring the arms down. And then from here we could try to finish just taking hold of the outside of the feet and pushing the feet up towards the ceiling. And we're trying to bring our knees into our armpits. So this is called Happy Baby. It's quite an intense stretch. We still want to keep our back flat on the floor. We want to try and bring our feet so they're over the face or feet apart, kind of outside the hands, if that makes sense, outside the armpits. So it should be an intense stretch for the hamstrings and the hips. It's about 3 or 4 more breaths. And slowly bring the feet together and knees into the chest. Just hugging the knees in, knees side to side, or drawing a circle with the knees. And rolling up to seated, drawing the tummy in. And there we are with hamstring stretches. Thanks for joining. See you soon. Bye.